Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am pretty good, actually. Yeah, I'm pretty good. I have no complaints today.
Wonderful.
There's the final day of a week of charity streaming. We have
Heck yeah.
raised over $10,000 for Free to
Nice.
Love for arts programs for children. And
Heck yeah.
I have had so many cool conversations with so many of my friends and new people. And it's been great.
I love that. That was something you were really trying to do this year, I remember.
Yeah. Yeah. And I decided to backload it all into the last week.
Hey, if you win, you win. It doesn't matter how you got
Uh-huh.
there.
How are you?
I am really good, actually. I was thinking about, well, obviously, with it being New Year's Eve.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Happy
It's
New
that
Year, by
time
the
of
way.
year to like reflect and
Uh-huh.
think about what's next. And I was thinking about how great the last 6 months have been. Like uh, it's really weird because I had one. I wouldn't say it was one of the most traumatic experiences of my life, but it was pretty damn traumatic being laid off.
Yeah.
For the first time ever, and
Mm-hmm.
and yet despite that, this year has been one of my better years, which is, I think, says a lot about this year. And I
Wow.
think, just like you, and we've talked about this a little bit, is really just focusing on being social again,
Mm-hmm.
leaving the house some,
Have
which
you
normally
all right.
overrated, but
We should introduce you to my people. Because
hello.
hi. Oh, you were saying hi to them. I get it. Um this is Ashley. How do I know you, Ashley?
Um, we have a mutual. I wouldn't call him a person. We have a mutual person.
Oh yeah.
In
Yeah,
Filthy,
yeah,
Filthy
yeah.
Robot, yeah.
True.
And man, Filthy just speaks so highly of you. And I remember looking up your Twitter, and then Twitter did its thing where you became my sole Twitter feed. And then, yeah, I don't know. I guess we just kind of, did that weird natural thing that humans do
Mhm.
on the internet.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
were Filthy's content creator manager or whatever
Mhm.
for an org
Yeah.
that he was on before he and I joined F2K, right?
No, after F2K.
After. He joined
After.
another? He turned around and joined another one?
Yeah.
That man. That man is wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well good for him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's long gone. That's long gone. So, yeah, man, that's crazy to think about. That was like 2 years ago. Maybe 2.5. I don't know. Time is weird.
I know. Time is so
Really weird.
incredibly weird.
Yeah, so I didn't really meet Jorbs until recently this year, PAX.
Yep.
That
We
was
hung out
fun.
at PAX for a bit. It was fun. You gonna well, have you done any more conventions since? And do you have plans for PAX again this year? Next year?
I think TwitchCon was after PAX, so I did that. And then I had flown twice a month for like 3 months in a row, so I decided to not do any more conventions for a bit of time.
It's super
My next
reasonable.
one's yeah. My next one's gonna be GDC Game Dev Conference, which will be really cool.
Is that one in San Francisco?
One of those cities.
Okay.
Maybe. I know it's in California.
Okay.
So I'm going there for work, which will be really cool. I always love when other people pay for my travel, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Do you feel like you get to have a bit of time to see the cities you travel to, or is it really just booked in work from the moment you land?
It depends on the job. This will be the first time I've done a convention with this job, and we do have a booth. And I think that's the major time sink. If you're uh, at a convention with a company that has its own booth, man, you're probably going to be too exhausted afterwards to really go see the city. I have tried in the past when I worked like the booth with Streamlabs to see friends in the area, and I was just dead on my feet, dead, like emotionally and mentally, and I ended up just sleeping.
Yeah.
It also doesn't help that I'm on the East Coast, so the time zone change probably gets me. But
True.
yeah, I really want to go to some board game conventions this year. Like I want to switch it up.
Do they have, like, okay, board game convention. So do you just go there and play board games all weekend?
Yeah.
That sounds really sweet.
Yeah, exactly what I want to do. PAX has one, which just happened, but again, I was not ready to travel again, called PAX Unplugged. It's usually in the Northeast, I think. And then there's like a bunch of different ones.
That, yeah.
Yeah, I have friends I went to. I should have gone with. But yeah, I love board games. I, shortly before COVID, had started going and playing at a shop near me, and then COVID happened, and I was like, well, never mind. But now I have, like, in the past, because I'm backloading my yearly commitments as well. The past couple months I've been going weekly, and it's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful to like get to know other gamers, and I mean, I'm lucky, that I work judo in the industry, so like at least everyone I've worked with in the past couple years like was a gamer, but I never had that before. When I worked outside of the industry, it was always like I was scared to tell people when they'd ask me what my hobbies were.
Yeah.
When you're in corporate America, someone asks that, you respond, I play video games. They're like, huh? Oh, you mean like Fortnite? Yeah, my kids play that.
You feel like that's gotten better?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like over the last 5 years or so, I don't know. We're all getting older, which means that all the people in corporate America are getting older too, and the new generation are kids who grew up with Xboxes, so
Heck yeah.
everyone's doing it these days.
Yeah, that's the dream. It's always cool to, feel like you can actually, what's the word? Connect, I guess. When you feel like you can actually connect with people around you, people you work with, and stuff on a different level. It's not just work. I love that. I used to have to, being from the South, I used to have to like. I wouldn't even try to fake it, to be honest. I used to have to like listen to football talk, and I never knew who they were talking about, and it always like amazed the people around me. They'd like give me some name of a sports person, ask me what game they played. It's like
Gosh.
It's a different world now for me.
Yeah. What's the best board game that you've played this year?
Well, okay. Haven't really played it, but I'm gonna say it anyways because I'm such a freaking fanboy. I kickstarted Larian's Divinity Original Sin board game before COVID, and I just got it last week. So
that's super exciting.
I'm just reading through the rule book right now and playing a little bit of the tutorial. But that's the one I'm most excited about, and You know, it's really weird. I have not played a single board game more than once because all the people at the shop I go to are avid like collectors and Kickstarter fanatics. Plus, the shop has all these board games, so it's hard to like say a best game when you've only played them all once, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, how about like a good memory of a gaming experience?
I'm trying to think of like a really good one. Oh, we played. This is gonna sound wild, like wildly boring, but it was wildly fun. We played this game. I think it was called Big Boss, where everybody is investing in companies, buying and selling stocks. It was the most engaged I'd ever seen a table at the shop. Like, it was so much fun. It was very simple. Like, you could, like, work your way around the board to, like, merge companies and stuff. And, like, if someone had explained that to me, I would have been like, yeah, then no, I don't want to play that. But, you know, people who make board games are geniuses, apparently. Hey, get out of here. My dog has decided to join us. Sorry.
It's okay.
She kicks in my door.
Zephyr has been around yelling at me this morning. I used to play a game called Stock Market. And
Really? Wait, a board game or a video game?
A board game called Stock Market. And it was... I think it was my mother's game. She was a PhD economist.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of like much more interesting Monopoly, where instead of having properties, you would buy stocks, and then as you moved around the board, it would push the stock market sliders up or down to change the prices of stocks in different categories.
Wait, it sounds like the exact same game.
Oh.
I'm actually wondering because I
may
know...
Maybe a remake or something, yeah.
Yeah, they said that Big Boss was a remake. Who are the people that do... You know the little... what are those little collectible things with the big heads?
Bobbleheads? Bobbleheads, probably.
Well, no, the pop something. Every gamer collects them. I'm not a collector, so I don't do it, but anyways.
I am also not a collector. Funko Pops, apparently.
Funko Pops, yeah. I want to say that they bought this game and then reskinned it. Reskin this board game because people in the shop were like, oh, I hate that company, but then the game was like so much fun that everyone was like, oh, okay. Oh, okay, grumble.
I remember it being fun, so
yeah, and I also felt like it man, there were some pitfalls that I was like, oh no, that was like very true to like life as someone who's dabbled in trying to understand the stock market. Yeah, it's really just legalized gambling, and a lot of the pitfalls in the game, you know, it was like, oh no, like, yeah, diversification is very important. Look at that. Now this person's totally broke. Wow. So it's like a little educational. Not too much, though.
I remember it was really colorful. That's what I remember about it. Like, the money was a satisfying color, and the stocks had different like color coding and stuff, and I don't know, I get into that. I get into color coding data in satisfying ways. It soothes me. It's bizarrely important to me.
It feels really nice. I am I tend to like not even look up reviews of board games, and I just buy ones that art or theme interests me. And I mean, art really gets me. I'm super in love with this. I can tell you a game, actually. I'm super in love with this game called Wingspan. Have you played that?
I have kind of played Wingspan.
I had no idea birds were so interesting. And suddenly I was like, oh, maybe bird watchers aren't.
Yeah, they're onto
weirdos.
something.
You know, like maybe they're onto something. So I actually after playing it, I bought that one with some expansions.
You have the community art pack. I think there's a community art thing
Oh,
for
I
it.
don't think I've seen that one. I'll have to take a look at that. But the art, all of it, like, it's so beautiful, and aesthetic. And then you add in, like I said, crazy bird facts, and I was like, ah, sold.
Yes, Wingspan is a perennial favorite, I feel like, among my friends. I have actually never played a proper game of it.
Oh,
I have
really?
only ever been like hosting a party and having people play it and coming in and out
Oh,
in between doing things at the party.
you don't play the game at your own party?
I
Oh, you're a
am,
good host.
or just not capable of relaxing.
Oh,
one of the
well,
two things, yeah.
yeah.
Who could say which one for sure?
Yeah. It's funny, if I have people over to my own house, I'm the like I grew up in a our house is your house if you're here type of house, you know? And I'm just incapable of being a host, you know. I'm just like, well, I don't know, like you need something to drink, go get it out of the fridge. I don't like the cabinets are yours.
Yeah.
But if I go to someone else's party, then I become the like I'm like a nanny, or no, that's not. I don't even know what to call it. I'm like the person. Like one of my friends was like at his party. He was like, "Ashley, stop cleaning up. That makes people think the party's over and they want to leave." You know? Like, I was like, "No, I was just picking stuff up. It's your birthday. I don't want you to have to pick it up tomorrow." He's like, "No, you know? Get out of here." The mother hen. That's what I become when I'm the guest.
The mother.
Yeah.
That's really cute.
Whatever. Yeah, make
That
sure
is-
everybody's like having a good time.
that-
And I
Does not surprise me from our friendship, for what it's worth.
well, you know, I could probably adopt the personality when I host myself.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm like that though. I'm just like, yeah, this is my house now. I'm comfortable here. I don't, you know, like everybody be good. But yeah, I love how social you are. It is definitely an inspiration.
I am such an introvert. Actually,
I know, but you do it anyways, and it's good for you, right? Does it energize you at all?
it isn't awful.
I've found, though it drains my social battery, it's like a car battery where if you don't use it, it just dies. You know, like being social will drain my social battery temporarily, but I have to be social in order to not be really depressed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do think there's something to that. It's a muscle you have to keep flexing or you lose it.
Yeah. I think finding my like sweet spot of social is something I've really been working on. I was really spoiled, you know, before I got married and left this 3-hour diameter of my life, or where all my friends and family lived for all of my life. You know, I never had to make friends. I never had to figure out what social situations energized me or were good for me, because I just, you know, there was like an existence that had been all my whole life, and it was easy. And now I'm having to like figure that all out. And I used to think that online only was good for me. It's not. I don't know why it's different though.
What do you mean by online only?
Like, well, for instance, I went and saw like two of my trips this year were seeing two of my best friends that live in other states, and it's just different hanging out with close friends in person than it is playing games with them online, or even just hanging out in Discord. But I don't know why physical proximity matters to me. You
I
know?
think there's so much more fidelity in a human interaction if you're in person than there is when you are not. Like, you can see someone smile,
I
for
love
example.
that. Yeah.
You have so much more ability to parse their tone and intention if you're having like a nuanced conversation.
That's true.
What else? Oh, they can give you a hug. That's really nice.
That's
really
fair.
Nice. Yeah.
That's fair. I had not realized how touch starved I was over the course of COVID. I was really high risk. I was on a medication that made me high risk during all of COVID, like the bulk of, the first however many years. And, now I'm off it and I can go be social. And I was like, oh, wow, people are hugging me and it feels good. Like, what?
Yeah. I had a very similar experience. Like the first time I hosted a party after however long. A couple of my really close friends from all the way back in, I think one of them was all the way back to middle school, the others from high school, came, and after everybody else left, they just kind of hung out for a bit, and we sat on the floor by the couch and gave each other hugs and cried for like an hour, and it was lovely. And I was like, oh my gosh, getting hugs and connecting with human beings is incredible, and I really like this. And then the next day I installed online dating apps. So that's the story of how I started dating again. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow. I missed those because I just went from long-term monogamy to long-term monogamy to long-term monogamy. I just jump real quick after one ends, and I have no idea. Like, that whole culture, part of our culture, is just like lost to me.
It's increasingly just becoming how people date, I think.
It is.
Like, there
It's
just
literally
isn't anything else to it somehow.
I find the idea intriguing because, part of, like, I would just date within my friend group, which is like by the way, terrible idea. Like, if you want to keep friends. But like, all my friends would like meet people at like bars and stuff, and I was like, I hate that life. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't like loud places. I don't like dancing. I'm awkward. I can't do this. And yeah, I think millennials and whoever is in existence and using and dating nowadays, like, they haven't made. Or not. I've seen a lot of people say that, like, we don't know how to be social for real because of it.
Huh. It's interesting.
Well, it's mostly boomers that say it, though, so,
Well,
it's kind of like that thing. Like, just like me, I like look at Gen Z. They're doing, like, these weird things on TikTok, saying the stuff that I'm like, what? Like, what are you? What are you even saying? Like,
are we...
every generation looks down on the
Are you talking about Zibity Toilet? Because...
What? What is
I feel like that was self-explanatory.
Yeah, exactly. I have big boomer energy. It's fine. But yeah, because we, I'm kind of in like the middle of generations because my family didn't have a computer until I was 17. I didn't have a mobile phone until I was 19. So I didn't like grow up in this social age, or this like digitally social age. But then I quickly adopted it because, I mean, it's awesome. Yeah, I'm curious to see, like, I should look and see if I can find any scientific papers on it, because I've seen a lot of people say, like, that it's been harmful for social development. No, I think it just changes it. I'd be curious to see, like, down the line, when research is done, like, what happened.
I don't feel like we'll ever really know. By the time that we're researching studies like that without current bias, we're gonna have forgotten what the world used to be like.
That's
I
true.
think.
That's yeah. The world moves so fast. I'm just trying to keep up.
Do you read like? Sometimes I'll see like a blog post from one of the online dating databases or something like that, which is like, this thing happened and this thing happened and 60% of people now met their partner online and well, I mean, no, that's not a real number. I just made that one up.
Right.
Do you ever
Wow.
do you ever read stuff like that?
When it comes across, I haven't actually seen in a long time any from dating apps. I remember, and I also like if it's a blog from a company, I always like am so skeptical.
Right. Yes.
You know, that's why I'm like, I'd like to see some impartial data here. But I do really enjoy that. I find humans fascinating, and I love understanding what makes people tick, and like what drives them and like how they're different. So I would actually love to read something like that.
40% of people meet through dating apps, according to a Stanford
Oh,
study.
Stanford! Wow.
That's like
I wonder
current,
if it's
yeah.
at Stanford though. You know, like is it like what was their
I bet it's in America. That's my
yeah.
guess. I don't know. May should have cited that though. I
bet
will.
they did. Yeah.
I will reprimand May appropriately later.
Huh. 40%. That's wild. You know, I met my husband through a friend. Through a mutual friend, my best friend. He said like, "Oh, I have a buddy coming over tonight." I had this like tradition where I would just like do my family stuff on Thanksgiving, and then I headed to this friend's house. We would hang out and play board games and just, you know, shoot the shit and stuff all night. He was like, "Hey, I have a buddy that's coming over. He just got back to the States, and he'll be over at like midnight." I was like, "Okay." And then within a month, I was married.
Yeah.
So
You moved very fast.
yeah. We didn't have that like dating app or like whatever experience, but we were under a time pressure because he was moving to Germany, and I just don't do long distance well, which probably goes back to that like physical proximity thing that I talked about with friends. Like if I know that I can't do it with a partner, I probably should have understood that it's not good for me with friends either.
How does your partner feel about board games? You have family game nights and stuff?
Yeah, no, we don't. I actually should. I should get him to play some like co-op games with me. We both really more play like big, like 4 to 6 player games. And he hasn't been able to come out. He's not available like on the night that I go out, unfortunately. But yeah, he's like super strategic. Like he plays like Eve and stuff like when it comes to video games. So he gets a kick. And in fact, the night that we met, we played Blacklist together, which is a very simple board game. If you haven't played it, it's a lot of fun. As long as no one looks up the broken strategy.
Yeah.
And then it's no longer fun.
Believable.
But that one night, none of us knew the broken strategy. You hear that, people? Play Blockus. Don't look up how to play Blockus. Just play it. Don't let anyone else look it up. It ruins it. He's yelling from the other room. It's only the first 3 pieces.
Don't say that out loud.
Don't look it up. But yeah, so there's a little foundation of board games. with us. More video games, though. We spent the majority of our first 2 years of marriage playing Counter-Strike Go, which is wild because I don't even play FPSs anymore. I think I outplayed what would be the word? Oof, I
Good
exhausted
question.
myself on FPSs. We'll say that.
Sure. Yeah. You burned out on FPS. I played a
I-
lot of CS once upon a
Really?
time. I
Source or the Go?
what was that?
Source or Go? Counter-Strike Source or Go? Or
I think I played 1.6.
oh wow, okay,
Yeah, I'm old.
yeah.
It was fun though. Back when I could successfully click on heads, I can no longer click on heads. I still enjoy them though. My friend Nick is a professional first-person shooter player, and he's gonna come on later today to chat about his year with me. And
I could
so when
never.
PUBG was a huge thing, I would team up
Oh.
with him, and he did the shooting that mattered, and I just got to have the enjoyable FPS experience of like spraying my weapon at enemies and hoping that something hit them.
I love that. That's basically me in every game. I have so many incredibly talented friends that, very strategic, and I just want to, like, hold Wasty, Wasty Mouse One or whatever, like. I just looked it up. I have 1,200 hours in Counter-Strike 2, or what was Counter-Strike Go, which is
Oh yeah, they like
bad.
deleted Counter-Strike Go, huh?
Yeah, they were like, just kidding. This is now Counter-Strike 2. Haha. I haven't played it.
How are the reviews doing on that? Because I saw they were terrible for a while.
Yeah. Anecdotally, everyone complains about it. I'm actually curious. Let me look and see what it's like on the store page. It's interesting how gamers will like band together to just review bomb a thing. Very positive. Recent reviews mostly positive.
Okay.
Interesting.
Not bad at all.
Yeah,
You
not
only
bad.
hear about stuff when it's doing particularly badly, I guess is how it works.
I'm really, really confused about Starfield because I only heard great things about it when it came out. But I was too invested in Baldur's Gate 3 at the time. to
You
play
only
it.
heard great things about it when it came out. Huh.
Yes, and
I
then
heard
and
very
then now
middling
I only hear
things.
bad things about it.
Huh, I still only hear middling things. The entire time I have just heard stuff that's like in the middle.
Maybe it's because I have so many friends that are obsessed with Fallout. That's how my husband told me you'll like it. It's just like Fallout in space. I was like, oh, okay. So like maybe you just gotta be, it's like really good for those people, and then not for everyone else. I've heard it's boring and that there's nothing to do on the planets and stuff, but I haven't played it.
Would you say that you are another streamer?
Say it again.
Would you say that you are another streamer? You certainly have streamed.
Oh, Bucket. That's what I meant. Say Bucket. I am a hobbyist streamer at this point. If that
Okay.
makes sense. I was full time years ago, and now I just do it for funsies.
It is no
Um,
longer your job, but it is
Yeah.
something that you get to enjoy sometimes. Probably the right way to do it.
Yeah, my poor community. I'm like, I promise I'll stream this week. Haha, just kidding. This week? Maybe. But yeah, I have the luxury of doing that because it's not a job.
Yeah.
But and it's different now because now I can play whatever game I want. So, Baldur's Gate 3, played the hell out of that. Right now, this is probably the worst sin you'll ever hear me admit to.
Okay.
I am just now starting my very first Mass Effect playthrough. And
How
I'm
is
so upset.
it? I'm curious how it's holding up.
Oh, it's so good. And I'm so upset
Okay.
at every single person that didn't sit me down and like set me straight over the past decade. It's been in my inventory for so long, and I was like, hey, I'll get to that. It is. I'm still in the first one because I'm a completionist, but I'm in love, like in love with it.
Yeah, Mass Effect is. I never actually finished 3, but it was a game that I. Probably the reason that I didn't finish 3 was that I played 2 like 5 times in a row. Because it's also from an era of gaming where, like, by the time you were finished it, nowadays there would be another new hot game to go play. But back then it was like, there were like 2 or 3 years in there where Mass Effect 2 was just the best game like that. And there wasn't much to compare it to. And so people would just play it over and over again. And then, when Mass Effect 3 came out, there's like a huge amount of expectation to live up to what is basically nostalgia at that point. It's really hard for a new game to be as exciting to you as a game that you've already fallen in love with over 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, that makes sense. I also heard they updated it after the outrage. Apparently.
Outrage?
Or whatever. The complaints about the third one. Apparently, they like added some story or ending. I don't know because I've avoided spoilers, but
I didn't get far enough to be outraged. Yeah. I only got far enough to be like, this isn't Mass Effect 2.
Like,
and then I stopped playing it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so sad. Yeah, man, that has to be interesting, like for people who've been in game development the past couple of decades to have experienced the expansion of their industry. Because you're right, something like that, it's like you heard about those things like there was like a game a year, and now it's like it was really difficult for people to decide the game of the year this year. I mean, obviously it was Baldur's Gate 3, but there were other games that in any other year would have won, right?
Sure.
But like Breath of the
It was really hard for people to decide the game of the year, which was obviously Baldur's Gate 3. Just as long as we're clear about. Yeah.
I mean. I'm obsessed with Larian. I've never been a fan of a studio before. Not that type of person usually. Never been a fan of voice actors before. Like I never even know the name of voice actors, And
they've done an incredible job of marketing the game post-launch. Like
they really did.
Turned the voice actors into marketers as well. Like actors doing press after a film release almost.
Yeah, they've all become little like influencers, and I actually saw a voice actor complaining not about them, but complaining about studios that now seem to expect their voice actors to just freely become influencers with no pay,
Yeah, it is an entire extra job. So I always used to feel like I was losing my mind when I saw what Wizards of the Coast would do with Magic players, where they were doing like features on Magic players and everything like that. And it's like those people are like basically on staff for you. You should be paying them if they're going to be this involved in marketing your game. But it was just like they loved Magic and were happy to do it.
They were just like, yes, yes, feature me.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, but I have long been suspicious of people being asked to do like extra unpaid work to market things.
Oh yeah. I bet you're quite familiar with all of that.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's just a little bit. Oh man, this is like totally off top of gaming, but I just have to say reading your book this year was like so vindicating for me. Having been in like the creator industry, it was just like it was very validating and very vindicating.
Yeah.
But and that's sad. I wish that were not the case. I wish I could say like my experience in the creator industry was sadly unique, but unfortunately it is not.
Yeah, you don't want a book about like trauma that you and your friends have experienced to be book length. for starters. Like a short blog post, maybe, but book length, not great. And then you also don't really want other people to be like, wow, that really spoke to me. Like
It's like, oh,
it's unfortunate.
oh no. But I think it's important, like, because people get away with things because other people just think it's normal and like haven't heard anyone else like say like, oh no, it shouldn't be this way.
Yeah, I think
which is
about that a
good.
lot. A lot of people who do bad shit in the world today have just kind of grown up seeing other people do it and
Mhm.
don't even consider that it's bad behavior, which
Uh,
blows my mind. But
yeah,
I think it's true. So
that's that's true. Like a kind of nurture over nature type of thing.
mhm.
Huh. I wonder. I think some people get burned too. Like maybe they had a, like a moral compass that they kind of started to lean into, and then you get burnt, and you're like, well,
Oh yeah, like people will be trying to do good in the industry, and then someone will just treat them with the most egregious dehumanizing behavior imaginable, and then they'll be like, well, I guess that's not what we do here, and turn
yeah,
around and, you know,
yep,
start doing the bad stuff instead.
yeah, and that's really sad. Hmm. I can't wait. I do see the shift. Not as much in the creator industry, but in the gaming industry, we've seen Riot and Blizzard and everyone get their comeuppance, these past 5 years. I'm curious to see if there's actual lasting change from it. I really hope there is. But
I don't know.
we'll
I
see.
don't know. There's some sort of change, but I feel like it's never. It's always coming through a marketing team. It's always like
Yep.
being presented as being more than it actually is, maybe.
Yeah, well, I think for me, the fact that victims got reparations, the
Yeah,
government forced.
the Blizzard lawsuit was really good, and there should have
Yeah.
already been, like, I don't know, like, at least 20 suits like that, and it was the 1st one, and
Mhm.
so that's, like, the bad thing about that, but it's nice to see one
Yeah.
happen.
And now that I think Riot and them both had lawsuits that they had to pay a lot of money out, and I think now that
Forgot
people have
about the
seen
Riot
that
one.
happen,
Yeah, okay. Good call.
maybe other people will feel more comfortable coming together to do that because there's a fear. I've gone through the same thing. There's that fear of like, if I say anything or do anything about this thing that I know is not right, or about this way I've been treated, then it's possible I ruin my own prospects for the
Mhm.
rest of my life, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And m- the more people do call people out and the less choice people have to like uh blacklist them. What's the
Blacklist.
blocklist them?
Blacklist
Well,
sounds right.
yeah, I know, I've been trying to not use whitelist and blacklist, but I don't know
Ah.
what you would do in this for this use of the term because I've only usually it's ban list is what I use in a technical situation. That's kind of weird for. Huh,
Yeah.
I'll have to think about that one.
Make them persona non grata.
Yeah, like if you have no choice, everybody might call you out for your stupidity. Then you gotta hire them. What can you do? that's my dream.
In that context, it's really interesting to me that the lawsuits we're talking about are against very large scale orgs. Like maybe there's some number of people you need who are angry at once for people to come
Mhm.
together to have a lawsuit like that happen.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think
I
part
know.
of it is I'm not sure about these lawsuits, but I remember um, way back in the day when I worked at Bath and Body Works, they were always getting in trouble and having some lawsuit, and it was always from the state of California. and they're employees in the state of California because they're the state like pays for it. They get a bunch of people together if there's like enough issues, to your point, like if the scale is large enough or whatever to do one massive lawsuit versus like if there's like just me, and I was done wrong, I have to take on the burden of paying a lawyer and then hope that I get something out of it, and maybe I don't, and then maybe I'm blacklisted. And I don't think the normal person can afford that.
Yep.
Lawyers are expensive, and that's how people get away with shit. Oh,
You're not wrong.
yeah.
It was... Yeah, one of the things about writing my book was I talked to a lot of women who were in situations where they faced sexual harassment and other terrible things at work. And I would often ask about like how the Me Too movement sweeping through gaming had been for them, because it was what, in 2020, or it was happening not too long before I was writing the book, so it was...
Yeah, that
fresh on
2020
the-
sounds right.
Yeah. Fresh in the imagination. And a very, very, very common response I got was like, yeah, I guess it's great to see, but it hasn't helped me in any way because I'm isolated at work. Like, I don't have a group of people to support me and band together to call somebody out. It's just like me working in an office that's predominantly men, or I'm a streamer by myself in a gaming space that's predominantly men. And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it's-
I don't want to stand up by myself and yeah, risk getting ostracized and everything. So
Yeah. Yeah, the risk, having to stand up by yourself and almost re-traumatize, in some cases re-traumatize yourself is, yeah, it's sad. I'm glad that there were some people that actually got banned from that time. I get angry every time I see other names that are still around,
yeah.
but I hope it's the same. I hope that just continues to empower people to speak their truth and come together and uplift other people, because no one else is going to change the world, right?
What things have you felt have gotten better in the world in 2023?
Ooh. In the world.
Yeah.
I've
You
been
want-
amazed to see people come together, even though there's like two sides to it. But come together to support the citizens of Palestine. Like the power of the internet. I feel like I was thinking about how during 9/11, right? I remember everyone around me like being like reacting with so much like very similar to what people on the other side are reacting now, of like well, we should just go like flatten that country, right? But in that time there was not a big social system that was digital where you could like find other people that believe the same thing as you, right? And realize like, no, there are other people that don't believe you should just go flatten a country, like wipe out all these innocent, citizens and children and stuff. And I think that's been really cool to see this year. Even if it's like it sucks that it's happening. So
Yes.
I'm just talking about the silver lining here, not the whole situation. If you know what I mean.
I wrote and deleted a tweet because I felt like it needed to be longer than a tweet, and I didn't want to make a video about it, about how when I moved to the US, Afghanistan was a country that we played against in cricket in New Zealand. Like, I was used to seeing their athletes and their cricket team and people on interviews on TV being charismatic and everything like that. And then I moved to the US in 1999 in December. And so I'd been here for a little under 2 years when the Twin Towers got attacked, and then we went to war in Afghanistan and Iraq. And I remember hearing the way people were talking about Afghanistan and like at school and stuff. And I vividly remember there was one night I was watching TV and there was like a live feed of the bombing of Kandahar. And I was just like so upset. Like
Wow.
What the fuck are you doing to these people who my heroes play cricket with?
Right.
And there's like celebration of it, and it gave me a tremendous appreciation for international sporting events is one thing it did, because as a 13 or 14-year-old, I had already been given a reason in life to care about these people who lived on the other side of the world. But now, yeah, with conflict in the Middle East again, it has been really meaningful to me to look on Twitter and other places in the thread and see that there are people standing up and saying, like, hey, these are people, including you're getting voices from the conflict itself and getting to actually see who these people are and hear their stories and support them, I mean, in ways that we can.
Love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is, yes. One nice thing about social media is that it makes it easier to have empathy for people all around the world. One not so nice thing about social media is it makes it easy not to feel empathy for lots of people all around the world as well.
It's true. It is a double-sided. Yeah. Twitter is a hellscape, but also, it has it exposed me to so many things that I would never have thought about. I do love that. And I didn't have anyone I knew, not like no sporting team, nothing, when 9/11 happened. So there was I feel like for me and all the people around me, there was nothing to humanize people. Although I just felt like I was in a mental institution, just surrounded by crazy people. At my age of that. Well, I don't want to. Never mind. No one knows exactly how old I am. But,
okay.
I was in school, but I just remember thinking what is wrong with all the adults around me? I just did not understand. It was almost traumatizing and scarring to see people that I thought were kind and loving individuals turn into hateful. I don't know. It just blew my mind. As much as I am intrigued by and love. Love the human mind. Sometimes it's scary. It can be very scary. I love that about 2023. I 100% agree with Selechi. Sorry, I know I mispronounced that. They said the games industry unionization movement, and really honestly, any industry unionization movement this year has been such an inspiration to me. I'm heck yes, down with man. Let's go. 2023 is the year workers rise up. I can't wait to see. I hope in 2024 we actually see widespread movement of games unions. I've talked to a lot of people in games about it, and everybody wants to do it, and it's just how do you organize people is what it comes down to.
That's really exciting. It was very enjoyable for me to watch a huge number of game developers come together and just absolutely obliterate Unity.
Right?
Because
they're whoa!
They're such smart people. They know what they're doing, and they're in a position where they can actually stand up to the suits who are making terrible choices to try to juice profit and say like, hey, no, that's not okay. Also, they're indie game developers, so they're not really like, they don't belong to Unity. Like seeing Megacrit move their game that they're working on from Unity to Godot
that's so cool.
in response to that was like, hell yeah, they fucked up.
Yeah, get wrecked, suits.
And it's just kind of, it is refreshing to get a W in the world always.
And we had another one in gaming. What was his name? Zero Punctuation. You know what I'm talking about? There's a YouTuber. I can't remember the name of the company.
So that was like a YouTuber who did like game reviews, I think, and then they became more commercial and like got.
Well, yeah, he sold to like a company, and then that company got bought by another company, and basically, so instead of just being a YouTuber, he worked with like a group of video production staff. And their producer was just unceremoniously fired overnight. And all of the staff on his team, all of the production people quit and went to work for him. They started their own company that's employee owned. All of them. Literally all of them. And so Zero Punctuation doesn't own the IP. But he was like, no, I don't care. I'll just make new IP. And then they did! And I'm like, okay, well, we're sticking it to the man in 2023. Let's continue. Let's keep this going. Put the power back to the people.
That's pretty rad. I didn't actually know that story.
Yeah, I love a good. I was never someone who watched like Jersey Shore, like any kind of trash TV. But then I find myself, like on Twitter, really reveling in justice drama. I'm like, gotta look up everything. I join their Discord. What's going on? This is the best soap opera I've ever seen. Oh, The Escapist. Thank you. That was. Yeah, the entirety of the Escapist video department. He was the only one I watched, so. But now, I'm like, now I'm gonna watch the other ones, yeah. Yeah, imagine trying to continue Zero Punctuation without Yahtzee, like the person who created it and has voiced it for over a decade. Would be wild. I was really curious to see if they try to like AI his voice or something.
Ooh, do you think they have rights? Ooh, that would be wild. People would not like that.
No, they wouldn't. But, it's like, it seems like those type of people don't care right now. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, there's a bunch of people who would be like, hey, this is the most reprehensible thing in the entire universe. And then there would be a bunch of other people who would be like, this is so funny. I love watching this. And yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
The world.
Yeah, AI's been weird to me this year. I can't say. I think parts of AI are a win this year, and parts of it are a loss. I asked a dev, right? I said something. I was really being flippant at the time, but I said like that I couldn't figure out if AI was the direction of AI was evil or not. And he was like, whoa. AI is not evil or good. It's the application of it. And I was like, oh, you know what? I don't usually like my sentence structure being policed, but you are so right. That is so on point.
Yeah, I've been thinking of it as a tool rather than like I don't know. People think about it like a god or something, and I don't mean that. I don't mean that in terms of like it's going to have power of the universe. I mean that in terms of like it's unchangeable and it just exists outside of the space that we can affect it. But it doesn't. It's a tool that we can use in the ways that we want, and it will, do something based on how we use it. And so that's how I've been thinking about it more.
Right. And there's so many intriguing possibilities. Like, I it could be used. You know, people's fear is that one of the fears is like AI will take away our jobs, right? So it's like a common fear of a lot of things that's used politically, right? Everything's gonna take away our jobs. And the fear of that is then like, you know, how do I eat and feed and clothe myself? But what if AI could take away our jobs and make food to feed, you know, the populace? They didn't have to work. Like it could happen. It could be used for that. Will it be?
Problema es capitalismo or something. Yeah, one thing about thinking about it as a tool is that once AI isn't evil, but there's still immense suffering around it, you have to be like, wait a second. Wait, but something is evil. And then the following conclusion is pretty inescapable. So
humanity. You know, to bring it back to gaming, I played because I can't stop talking about this game. I played Dirge in Baldur's Gate 3. I played, you know, the Dark Urge.
Yep.
But I played it immediately as a, you know, resisting the Dark Urge. And I romanced Lae'zel and Shadowheart, and I convinced both of them to leave their evil god's ways. And I was thinking a lot about, I'm a sucker for a story of like rehabilitation or, you know, change. And I was thinking a lot about while I was playing it, and man, the writers are just phenomenal. I literally was crying. I literally sobbing at the end of my first playthrough, like sobbing like a baby. But I was thinking
I'm gonna
a
have
lot
to play
about...
Dark Urge, huh? I didn't realize that Dark Urge was something you could play to resist it. I thought it was just like what you played if you wanted to be evil.
Look at that. Yeah, they thought of everything.
Sounds like I have another 200 hours of the game to play.
I know. Yeah, and seeing the change in Lae'zel and Shadowheart as well, like it really got me into thinking about how humanity is capable of the extremes of both good and evil, right? These are stories that mirror life to some degree, and it also got me to thinking too about like how important it is to give people the space and the grace to make good or you know, change, right? Like move on from their evil past and make reparations and try to do the good thing.
That
it's
is something that we are not good at on the internet.
Yeah. Twitter is like unforgiving. I don't know if it's all side to Twitter or if it's just, you know, creator and gaming Twitter, but I've seen so many people try to be something different and better than they were 5 years ago, and they're just slapped down. And I've seen some of them just, you know, throw the hands up and say, you know, F it, like,
sure, and
you know, damned either way. So
and like they presumably have an audience of people who don't care, so why does it even matter?
Yeah, it makes me really sad.
To them, at least. Yeah.
I was trying to think of like be more cognizant of the biases I've developed for people that have, you know, proven to be one thing or another in the past, and how, like, am I capable, and how do I ensure that I am practicing like that thought process? Because, you know, biases become very ingrained. You don't really think about them, but, you know, if I didn't like someone because of something they did 5-10 years ago, like, they could be literally a completely different person today. And how do I allow them to prove that to me?
It's a really hard puzzle.
Yeah.
Like,
you're not wrong.
Incredibly difficult. I have wondered it too. It's harder when you are on the internet, I think, because you don't... I mean, it's like not getting to see your friends. You don't get the same integrity and fidelity in your interactions with people. So yeah, it's like really hard to tell. But we want to live on the internet in a way where we can build meaningful connections. So there has to be
Yeah.
some way to forgive people and repair broken trust.
Right. Yeah, give them that chance to do that if they want to. I've definitely seen some people cancel on the internet that I felt like canceling was like too far, you know?
Mhm. Well, mob justice is generally understood to not be a great form of justice.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
so it's a little bit concerning that it seems to be like
Yeah.
our main one. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's oh, hot take. It's I feel like I always think about when I see someone has done or said something just egregious, I think about like myself 10 years ago and the things that I personally didn't realize were offensive or wrong at that time. You know what I mean? Like that I now know are wrong or hurtful, but were part of my language, or you know what I mean? Like I just didn't know.
Yeah, I've got some
And
too.
I feel so thankful that I wasn't really on the internet like at that time, you know, like and I feel bad for like kids these days because I think about all the dumb shit I did, you know, in school, and some of them get that recorded now, and that's like on the internet forever.
Yep. Right to be forgotten.
Yeah,
It
we
should-
need that in America.
Should be possible for people to just be like, well, that is a thing I did 15 years ago. If it were an actual crime, the statute of limitations would have stopped applying like a decade ago. And now you're like looking it up online and coming after me for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like there's so many ways for people to like. In some ways, it can be good, but I feel like it's probably not good that there's so many ways that people like archive the internet, so they can like pull up all that past stuff. But
I have no good solution to this. Maybe that's a thing that I'll think about next year.
What exactly?
Like how to have better trust between people on the internet. I think
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I do wish you could just like pull them into a room physically and be like, actually talk about this, not just yell at each other through, you know, Twitter. Or like even, you know, Tona's hate this about written socials. Like you don't know tone.
Right.
And so some people will think someone's being mean to them when they're not. You know, it's like I'm really sensitive to that because I am like for sure neurodivergent, and I struggled my entire life with people not liking my tone. My tone conveying something that I really didn't mean it to, and it took a lot like over 2 decades really of focus on EQ and like learning to fake that to stop offending everybody.
Yeah. Yep. I think that that's been a really nice thing about talking to people on stream this week is getting to actually hear people's voices and hearing what people mean. And also, like, when you talk to someone for an hour instead of exchanging 2 tweets or something, it becomes very apparent what their intention is in talking to you. Whereas when you're on the internet looking at a tweet or something like that, it may very well have been written for a completely different audience that you weren't even a part of. Like it's like an in-joke for some gaming community or something, and now you're reading it and you're not part of that community and you're just misinterpreting the intention of the thing you're reading entirely. And maybe it is actually offensive and was a bad thing to say, but like that wasn't the intention necessarily. And you're missing that information. The thing I think about a lot.
If only I could read minds.
Oh,
Only.
my
No, I actually would hate
therapist,
that too.
my therapist told me that I was trying to read people's minds too much.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What did she tell you to do about that?
Stop. Yeah, it was pretty straightforward.
No, stop. I think it's...
You've just got to trust people to tell you what they mean. That's what she told me.
Yeah. I like that. I do that. Like, I'm just pretty straightforward. And I found that people never believe that that's actually what I want. And I'm like, no, like, I told you I want ice cream. I literally just want ice cream. You know, it's like, they're like, yeah, but do you want cookies? And it's like, no. Like, just take me at my word. And then if I get something that I didn't want, then that's my fault. Yeah, I've been stopping in text. I do this a lot in a Discord that I am in. That's like, it's like an industry type, not industry. It's just like a bunch of creators and where people like talk about the creator industry. But if I have a friend that has the same communication style with me, so if we get going in that Discord, I will stop and I will literally like put like a disclaimer, like, hey, I'm not upset and I 100% respect this person's opinions, and we're literally just having a conversation here. Because I want to make sure like people understand my intent is not like that I'm not like, hooping on this other person's opinion on something in the industry. I'm just like trying to talk it out. Because I wouldn't want other people to like be like, oh man, Ashley, man, can't say it even. Ooh, she'll tear you apart. But like, I wish everybody would do that. I wish everybody would just clearly state their intents. Oh my god, like these aliens in Mass Effect. What are they called? There's like this weird blobby monotone alien that literally says the intent of every sentence at the beginning of their sentence.
I don't know.
The Hanar, yes. I'm gonna strive 2024. Oh yeah, Elcor. You're right. It's Elcor. I'm gonna strive to convince everyone that we should all be the Elcor.
All right, I'm on board. Elcor 2024. It rhymes. Good slogan.
Yeah, life would be so much easier. Reading between the lines is dangerous and not fun. I gotta say, watching you click all these colors that like pop up as you're playing this game, all the effects are really good to play. I've never played it.
And you've never played Slay the Spire?
No.
It is a pretty good game. I have played it for 9,000 hours.
Okay, I feel
I feel like it is quite good.
Okay, earlier when I was like, oh, I played this game for 1,200 hours, that's oops. You just come back with 9,000? That's amazing.
I'm not actually at 9,000 yet. I'm at
okay. I'm like, what? Whoa.
8,857. So.
Oh, God. That's amazing. Oh, no, I don't really have that much. That's, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really good. It is... I would be surprised if you didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, it definitely has, I've played, the only card game like this... No, that's a lie. Okay, so I've played, Darkest Dungeon, and I played that because obviously, well, I say obviously, I'm super into, like, Lovecraftian lore type of stuff, and people told me I would love it. And I do, it's just really hard, and I'm bad at it. Really enjoy that. But I tried to play I tried to play Riot's card game.
Legends of Runeterra is...
Yeah, I couldn't get into that. So I don't know. I don't know what the, like, what is it you know what I mean? What is it I like? What is it I don't like?
a lot of people who like Spire like both of those games. I couldn't tell you exactly why some people like one and don't like the other. That is something that I have really struggled with since becoming a content creator, is starting to realize I just have no idea why I like the games I like. I just don't know. At some point, I stopped paying attention to like spoiler season for games, or not spoiler season, you know, marketing for games. Like the next big game is coming out, is this thing.
Oh,
because
yeah.
I would get excited for a game, and then I wouldn't like it at all, and then I would end up playing like 100 hours of a game I didn't hear about, that I didn't see any marketing for at all, and absolutely love it. And I just got frustrated. Like, this marketing is just not successfully bringing me to the game that I want to play. So I just stopped paying attention. And now I just find games by recommendations, basically word of mouth. Which seems
I was
to
gonna
be
say
going
that's
well.
been. I recently, I don't remember, I have no idea why, but a bunch of people on my timeline put up like an image that had like the covers of their top 20 games or something. And almost all of them had a handful of the exact same games. And I was like,
Yeah.
I guess I gotta play all those games.
And were they good?
So far, yeah, they have been.
Sweet.
Outer Wilds, how did I miss that game?
Did you play Outer
I don't
Wilds?
know. I had never heard of it, you know, and now
But
I'm
you've
like,
played it now?
best game ever made. Yeah.
Good. I am glad
Yeah,
you're on
yeah,
board. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I would recommend to anybody. I played that this year.
Did you play the DLC too?
I did, although I just, you know, now that you bring that up, I think I didn't finish it. I got distracted on the DLC. I finished the game, and then I did the DLC, because that's how I was told to do it.
Yeah, that's how I did it too. The DLC is worth finishing. Definitely.
Yeah, I should go back. I do that sometimes. I go very scroll mode and don't finish a game. Oh. I was playing Breath Edge, and then I was like, well, it's time to play Mass Effect. You know, like, okay, I guess I'll play that game one day. I don't know. My mind just was like, no, we're good with this. And of course, like, I have all these games in my backlog, but instead I like pull my Steam Deck out and play something like Brotato for way too many hours.
I was just
Like,
thinking
just
about
over and over again.
Brotato.
It
I think
is
someone
so
mentioned
good.
Brotato in chat. Yeah. Brotato is a great example of how, like, you know, everyone's like, ooh, Elden Ring is coming out. And then, like, someone in chat's like, hey, have you tried Brotato yet? And I'm like, what's Brotato? And they're like, you're a potato with 6 guns. And I'm like, that sounds terrible. And then I play it for 500 hours, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that. I get the thing about Brotato, though, for me at least, is that it's not the same game over and over. It's always fun and interesting because I'm always trying out the different characters and trying to beat it with different characters.
There are games which are very different when you're playing through them the first time to when you're playing them and already like know everything. And Brotato is one of those, but also the first time you play it is like hundreds of hours long because of how many different characters they are. It's really cool.
Yeah, there's so many. And then just playing around with like trying to beat runs in different ways and stuff has been fun. But yeah, it's why I never get to my backlog, because I'm like, well, I'm just gonna play TFT for hours today instead. Although I have realized that the Steam Deck is like I got a condition in my wrist called I don't want to pronounce it, decurvains. Apparently, like, 2 of the tendons in my wrist are just like messed up right now. And I looked it up, and it's also called gamer's thumb. It's like its other term. And
I've seen how to test if you have gamer's thumb. You're meant to like do this or something with your like, oh, and yeah, you do like that, and if it hurts, you have gamer's thumb.
Yep,
okay.
I have that.
I'm
on
alright.
my left wrist.
It's yeah, it is common among gamers.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, right.
as the name suggests.
But the Steam Deck is causing that. I'd almost gotten rid of it, and then I started playing on my Steam Deck again, and then it's like flared up, and so I'm like, well, maybe
yeah, that is not fun.
Yeah, maybe I can't be a handheld gamer. My hands are tiny, and I feel like the size of it, I don't know. Until they make a child-sized handheld, I don't think I can play them.
This is a hidden misogyny thing. Like, I was talking about this on stream like 2 months ago. The game controllers are built for the average male hand size.
It's true.
Like,
well,
yeah.
As someone that's 4'11", nothing in the world is built for me.
Yep. Which is also shit.
I actually recently I was like, and I joke about this. It is 100% true, but I like to joke about the fact that I'm literally 1 inch taller than legally being able to be considered a midget or a little person, and which makes me sad. I'm like, if I could have just stopped 1 inch shorter, like it wouldn't have made any difference in my life, and then I could have been cool. But I was like, surely someone in the world has like developed furniture for this niche. And I was wrong. It doesn't exist. Because the expectation is like, just use children's furniture and just wear children's shoes and clothes. But those things are not made for ergonomics or aesthetics. They're different, and it makes me very sad.
Yeah.
I actually kickstarted a chair, an office chair, because it was the shortest and shortest seat tan depth or whatever that I've ever seen. And I got it in, and it's literally 1 inch too tall. I'm like, but it's the closest I've ever been. One day my feet will not dangle.
What are you excited about next year?
Ooh, 2023. I'm excited to reap the rewards of my work at Being Social the later half of this year and continue that, because I definitely, like, my mental is so much better.
Did I say next year was 2023?
You did. And you know what? I went with it. I didn't even notice until you said it. Yep.
Okay, whoops.
Yeah, you know what? It's just...
It is what it is.
It is what it is. It's just like, I never remember, like, how old I am. I have to do the math of what year it is minus my birth year. I am excited. Yeah, and really to just, like, continue in the life that I have right now. Isn't that wild? Like, I just feel like I'm in this sweet spot, like, with my job, like, with my hobbies, like, I'm just mentally, like, I'm just in this spot, and I'm like, okay, now we do the hard work to maintain, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you go on a diet. It's like, dieting's hard, but what's harder is like staying. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see what comes from that, and just continue to enjoy my backlog of video games, to be honest, because let's be real, like, I'm an introvert, and I'm probably more excited about that. How about you?
I still don't know. I've been asking everyone, and I still haven't worked it out.
2024. Yeah, I am not... Yeah.
I'm excited about having more different types of energy. I think that's what I'm excited about.
What do you mean by different types of energy?
Outside energy, travel energy, thinking energy, doing energy, dating energy.
How do you fill those
friendship energy?
Batteries back up?
I don't know what the answer is, but they have been filling up more lately. So I must be doing something right.
Yeah.
And I wish I could tell you what it was. This year, I think I was kind of craving that, and I think that's one of the reasons why I tried playing 300 different games on Steam this year. I got up to like 105 or something, so it was the direction I was aiming, but I didn't make it particularly close.
I mean,
but,
even 105, wow.
Yeah, it's still a lot. And I think one of the reasons that I set that as a goal was that I wanted to find more different energy, basically. And then I've also done therapy all year, and I feel like I'm in a spot now where I did get some from somewhere, and now I just have to use it.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I love that. I was in a place where I felt like I really needed to go to therapy. I tried to find a therapist, and they never emailed me back.
Oof.
But now I'm in such a good place that I don't feel like I need therapy, but I am considering going anyways, because I do believe, what's the word for like maintenance of healthcare? There's a word for that by healthcare. When you like
maintenance
like a tune-up.
of healthcare. Tune-up.
You know,
that is
like a car tune-up, but
yeah, that is for cars. That's what I was going to say. Okay.
Preventative healthcare. Yes, thank you, delicious grapes. Yeah, I think that I would like to go to a therapist for some preventative to help me maintain where I am versus what happens is I think for my mental at least is I spiral. I know I don't spiral. I slowly roll down that hill, you know, in a way that I don't really realize I'm doing it until I've, you know, reached the bottom. And then I'm like, wait, what? How did we get here? We were doing so good, you know? And instead of like doing this up and down, I think I would like to see a professional and help me maintain and maybe even challenge me on, you know, my current status, like, because maybe I think I'm good, but then I'm sure there are avenues that are not, right? Like there's probably one of my batteries is not. Yeah. I think I want to do that. I do not like making New Year's resolutions. I feel like they're just made to be broken, but a life resolution I think would be to do that maybe this year. Yeah, soon. Do that soon.
Cool.
Yeah.
I am the exact opposite way with mental health. I am very good at writing the absolute fringe before I like crash, and then every now and then I get it wrong, and then I'm just like, well, I'm gonna be in a terrible place for the next 2 weeks, and then I get back out of it again. But yes, my therapist has been you know, instructing me on the value of doing things like taking a weekend sometimes and stuff like that, and I'm gonna be doing a bit of that this coming year. We'll see how it goes.
Content creators are bad about working way too much.
Oh yeah.
Not taking that time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep. That's amazing. I've been doing that with this job. It's the first job I've had ever where have work-life balance, and I'm just like, whoa, this is nice, and like I feel like I'm better at my job because of it. You know, like wait, what? I'm not burnt out, and I'm not in a constant state of burnt out for decades. What?
It does sound better.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. Yeah, all it took, you know, was to be like laid off.
Yeah.
Like realize no matter how much I gave to a company, my job was still at risk, and I was like, no, I'll never do it. I'm never going over, you know, like I always gave like 200% to my job, and now I'm like, I will give 200% to my job in the 40 hours that I'm there.
Very reasonable.
Yep,
reasonable.
yeah. Yeah, I worked like 60+ hour weeks for literally my entire adult life when I was working. I will say there was, you know, a period of time where I didn't work when I was in Germany, which is why I started content creation. And then I was like, I can't work. What should I do? I should make up a job for myself. You know, like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it took a long time for me to realize it wasn't the job. It wasn't my bosses. It was me. I was the one burning myself out. You know, yeah.
Yep.
That was me.
It's a good thing to realize.
Yep. I told my boss, my current boss, going in, like, that was important to me. That I was willing to do crunch when it was absolutely needed, but I needed him to hold me accountable and not let me work 60-hour weeks for no reason, right? Like, don't let me do it, because I'll get really excited about a project, and I'll just dive into it, and then, you know, and then I get burnt out, and I'm like, I don't want to do this project anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think this is the year, Jorbs. This is everyone's year. 2024 is going to be the best year ever, as long as there's no World War. Sorry.
What do you think will be our? Wait, what did you just say? That was quite a hedge. That was a large hedge. Holy shit! All right.
That was a intrusive thought that just came out of my mouth. I'm sorry.
Okay. No problem. No problem. I get this too.
It's yeah. What were you gonna say? What do I think? What?
What do you think will be our year's Woodstock? If it's going to be the best year ever? What's the like big social event that everyone's going to talk about forever? TwitchCon. No. Doubt it. Doubt it.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's a really interesting question because I keep seeing all these like cool events that everybody thought was cool, like Burning Man, that are like now like having weird things, or like, oh, everyone got trapped in the desert in the rain. It flooded, the desert flooded, and they got trapped there for weeks. No food or water. You know what I'm like?
I am not sure that going to the desert voluntarily is going to be like something that remains sensible in the coming decades.
Yeah, but I'm wondering like what replaces it, you know? If Burning Man, I mean that's the, you know, socially that's the one I think of as like the most well-known in and Taylor Swift album release years.
No, it might just be Tay Tay. It might be a Tay Tay thing. I could see it being a Tay Tay thing.
It has to be. What an icon. Dude, she is like, I never really listened to her music unless it was on, but I have been so invested in seeing her just like forge her own path in the industry. It just it amazes me. I could see her doing something.
I have not gotten into the personality cult of Taylor Swift, but I do enjoy the songs that she sings. They are very good.
I love that she's just like, she refused to be on Spotify forever. She like dropped her label and re-recorded all of her albums so that she owned them. You know, it's just like, she's just like, you know what? I do what I want.
Yeah.
I'm Tay Tay. It's like, okay.
She is
I'm here for it.
Yep. No one else is Tay Tay. That's for sure.
What do you think will be
the big event of next year? Megacrit's new game announcement. That's the devs for Slay the Spire.
Oh.
What will their next game be?
Oh. Do you know?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I do not know.
I feel like every dev I talk to is working on some unannounced secret project, and I'm like, whoa, what are all these games?
There are so many games. That's what I was gonna say. We got distracted, but I was gonna say my my thing that I think improved in the world in 2023 is the year we're finishing is
Yeah.
I think indie games keep getting better and better and
Yes.
better, and it's
Holy
ridiculous
cow,
how good they are
yes.
getting now.
Mm-hmm.
There are just far, far, far more very good games than I
Mm-hmm.
am close to having enough time to play.
Have you played Slay the Princess?
Slay the Princess, is that a
Yeah.
Spire like?
Not at all. It's what are those called? Like a story. You just choose an option type of things.
I have not played it.
Very surprisingly amazing. The devs
Horror
themselves say
adventure.
don't watch anyone else play it. That
Okay, I won't.
it's best to just like go in. But yeah, I was like official novel. Thank you. I haven't played Stanley Parable, but while I was playing this game, a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's like Stanley Parable." Yes, and so I bought Stanley Parable, and I have it in my backlog now. It is, yeah, it's really, really good, and it just like randomly showed up on my feed. I was such a snob. I would not play indie games. In my mind, indie games were like some. I don't know why. I know that this is way off, but in my mind, indie games were some like stupid little 8-bit I top down
I mean, I know why you
2D, you
thought
know what I
that.
mean?
Because that's what they used to be. Yeah.
I guess, yeah. I just was way
And
behind,
now
and then
they're
now I'm
like Baldur's Gate 3 is very nearly an indie game. That's how they are now. Yeah.
yeah, and
Baldur's Gate 3 is not an indie game, but
right. Um,
there
is
are
Outer
projects
Wilds
kind of like
indie?
it. Yeah, Outer Wilds is indie.
Yeah, that's wild to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I went to when we were at PAX, I went to Seattle Indie Expo, which is just a bunch of indie devs like showcasing their games, and all of them, I was like, "Whoa, you did like just you, like, or just you and this person? What?
Yeah.
What do you like?" Yeah.
A thing that I love more than anything else in the world is when someone who is incredibly passionate about something is able to share it with me.
Yeah.
And I think that indie games are one of the mediums via which I get that the most out of anything in the world. There's so many indie games that are like someone just really loves something, and the way they were able to express it so somebody else could enjoy it too is make a game about it or using it or something like that.
Yeah, I like that. You beat the game.
I did beat
I
the
didn't
game.
realize this was a end of game, like it ends.
Yeah, it's like 1 hour long runs basically, and then you go again.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
And every time you win, you unlock the next difficulty until you have them all.
Oh, got you. Okay.
Yeah.
This was made by 2 people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why.
Plus like voice talent and music and stuff like that. But yeah,
Right.
the main devs are 2 people.
Yeah. You're talking to people and they're like, "I'm the artist and the developer," and I'm like, "What?" Like,
yeah.
They're like, "What are you doing?" Or talking to a guy that's like, well, yeah, these small founders, the you're right, it's the passion. The passion and the talent is phenomenal. I played this game at the expo, that is, and there's another game that I bought that I haven't played yet. This is like this where it like emulates being blind. And in this one, it was like a 3D environment where you had to listen in either of your ears for these sounds and then actually turn and head towards the sound to pick up things, and like it would get louder the closer you got, and there's no visual at all. It was just a sound, and I was like, this is ingenious, like this is really cool. But it was people that were like really passionate about like accessibility and stuff, and I'm like, I'm so happy that people like this have this platform now and can afford to make games. Well, I say afford, like, the blood, sweat, and tears until they can afford it. But, it's something like that could have not have been made 2 decades ago by 2 people or whatever.
Yeah.
We're lucky. I just feel so lucky to have been born in the time that I was born in.
We picked a good year.
Oh,
Ish.
we did, didn't we? I was like, all right, here we go.
2023 is going to be a sweet year.
Joe, is it 2023?
Yeah. Thank you for chatting with me. I want to take a little break
awesome.
before my next guest. I think Pastry Time, like, works with Legend of Runeterra, or worked past tense with it. It's a caster or something. I feel like I've seen him do some stuff with it, or maybe he just plays it a lot. But I will ask him about Legends of Runeterra and why he likes it and Spire.
Oh.
Get to the bottom of this for you.
Figure it out.
Yeah, thanks for joining me. Do you have anything that you'd like to plug that you're working on or excited about, or a place to send people if they want to watch you on Twitch when you stream every now and then?
No. I'm good. I just hobby. Hobby. So, but thank you. Yeah, this was great and great to chat as always.
Yeah. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye. Twitch chat. Y'all are so lovely. We are raising money for Free to Love, which is an organization headquartered here in Seattle, local to me, although it helps people all around the states and in many countries outside the states around the world, which pays for arts programs for kids to engage in. They're very anti-bullying, they're very pro-acceptance and love, pro-creativity. They do things like put together personalized packages for kids to tell them they're amazing. They're a good org. And I'm really happy that we've raised over $10,000 for them already. If we somehow raised another $5,000 today, y'all could have another chat run. We're doing one chat run every $5,000 raised. If not, that's cool too. This is my version of hyping up donations to a charity. I just kind of vibe. Ashley seems like a cool person. Ashley is so lovely. Ashley is so lovely. Ashley and I met at TwitchCon for the first time. We went to the Twitch dinner the night before the convention. And I honestly wasn't even going to go to TwitchCon at all, but Ashley was in town, so I was like, yeah, I'll come to the dinner and hang out. And so we hung out with her and one of her friends and a few other people, and went and got food after the dinner ended because we weren't actually really eating at the dinner. And then I was like inspired to actually go into TwitchCon the next day because I had so much fun chatting with Ashley, and TwitchCon was just like not my speed at all. I was on the convention floor for about 15 minutes, and then I like met up with a viewer and went and had lunch on Capitol Hill with one of my viewers, which was just honestly lovely. It was great. I'd never met him before that day, and like the vibe seemed like they'd be fine, and I just wanted to get away from the convention. And then I came back to the convention and hung out with my friend Taylor, who is Frodan's wife. Frodan was on the channel with the TFT people a couple of days ago in the morning, and we hung out at the convention for a bit, and I was like, Taylor, you would really like Ashley. I'm going to introduce you to. So I introduced Taylor to Ashley, and then the three of us went and had dinner and talked for like 6 hours. So I spent like 15 minutes on the TwitchCon convention floor and about 9 hours total talking with Ashley. She's just lovely to talk to. She just keeps going and going and going and saying the most positive things imaginable. Huge fan of Ashley. Ashley is another content creator who has also done a lot of work on the back end of the streaming industry. All of Twitch is down. Well, that's not good. Is the stream on? I'm having some troubles. Don't reload. All right. No F5s. Do not reload. That's too bad. Happy New Year's Eve, everybody. Some of y'all are already in the new year, right? It's already the new year in what? Australia, New Zealand? Probably. What's the time in Japan? Korea? Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's 4:45 a.m. in Korea already. When does it hit Eastern Europe? What is the time in Romania? 9:46 p.m. The new year is coming up on Eastern Europe already. Cool. But I know it's the year of the dragon. I did not. I did not.